Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. How's Happy Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving.
It is Thanksgiving. I got Colby here. He is incognito. He is way, way, way far away and in a remote location. So again, we find it hard to be able to do these videos. You know, the last time we did the video, I was so friggin' tired. I was so exhausted. I didn't even realize how exhausted I was until I started doing it. I forgot so much. I wanted to talk about so much, and I'd forgot. I just let you pretty much just take it over because, you know, I just was like a corpse. Kind of like the Denver Broncos, a corpse. So you're saying it's kind of nice we didn't have a game this week?
Yeah, it was actually pretty nice not seeing this pathetic team on the field.
Yeah. You know what I found really interesting, and I don't know if I talked about it last week, but what I found really interesting was when I went back and watched that Philadelphia Eagles game, the way the Broncos were just getting beat to shit in the trenches, it screamed a lack of player personnel, and also people like Justin Simmons getting beat, you know, relentlessly. It screamed that this team still lacks the necessary player personnel to even take serious. And it seems like there's just a lot of denial coming from Dove Valley that trickles down to sports talk radio. When it comes to player personnel, I just wanted to put that out there that was glaring on the tape. So I do want to say something. I want to kick this off with this. I am a bit concerned with regards to George Paton. Just to let everybody know, me and you haven't talked about anything really. We talked about real world stuff, but not Bronco stuff. I am becoming very concerned about this guy. Why on earth are you going out looking for quarterbacks? Are you trying to say that Pat Shurmur is going to be around a while when you do that? Do you have a offensive coordinator lined up to come in? Do you have a head coach lined up to come in? Why are you upset? Especially you're looking at this draft class. Okay. Why is that a priority when we look at the tape, when I just mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles, that, you know, the base players that we have are trash for the most part. There maybe on offense we're getting a piece or two, but for the most part, it's not going to ever be good enough. We have receivers they signed up to contracts. I get it, because not every team has those type of receivers, and it is nice to have those type of receivers if you're on a team that doesn't have them. I get it, but those receivers, it doesn't make any difference if they don't have offensive line support. I just don't understand what George Paton is doing, going and looking at quarterbacks for it. Are you telling me that either Bridgewater or Locke is never going to be as good as these guys that are in college right now? I just, it's confusing to me, because it tells me that the thinking hasn't really changed with and I realize Elway's there. Now, is he there because of Elway? Could be. Elway's still in there lurking around. You know, is he ordered there because of Elway? You know, I'm just trying to make some heads or sense out of. You have so many base needs right now that need to get addressed. And here's the other thing. Listening to sports talk radio, they can't not fix, especially little D Mac and his group, they can't figure out how the Bills put it together, how the Rams put it together, how Tampa Bay put it together. They don't, or how the Chiefs put it together. They don't understand what was going on before they got those quarterbacks. It just escapes them. They have no clue of what was going on. We saw the player personnel build up to all that stuff. So I just want to ask you, why is George Paton going to all these different quarterback games, just games to watch these quarterbacks for? What is Shurmur going to be around? I mean, does he have what's the deal with that?
Um, I think you bring up great points about George Paton. I think I'm very concerned, specifically what I saw this week, because every single week this team has some news article that comes out. Apparently, even if we don't have a game during that week, there was two things that concerned me. Number one, you dedicated a lot of money and resources to the wide receiver position, and that does not portray well with me, a guy that I would dedicate a lot of my time and resources to build the trenches first before I even got to the receiving core. So I think that uh, that fully strengthens your point of George Paton. Now we can turn it over and look at that John Elway is still there. So I think there is a give and take, just like we see with this offense. I don't understand why you give Tim Patrick 3 years, $34 million, and then you turn around 2 days later and you give Cortland Sutton 4 years, $60 million extension to the contract, to his rookie contract. That doesn't make any logical sense to me. Um, George Paton, what is your vision for this team? Because you don't have an owner here. You don't have anything to really put your stock in, really, unless John Elway tells you to put your stock into somebody like a Justin Simmons and a Draymond Jones. And I take a step back and look at this team from an outside point of view, and both your lines are crap. They're bottom 5 units in the league. Whether you like to believe it or not, they're bottom 5 units in the National Football League. It doesn't even come close to what we've seen over the past 2 weeks, even with the before the bye, with even the football team, even the Washington football team has a better starting five than the Broncos starting five. It doesn't compute. And even the Eagles starting five is 10 times better than our starting five on the offense and defensive line.
Can I stop you? Can I stop you there just a second?
Go for it.
That's a huge point. They could not, sports talk radio, all the Denver Bronco Dove Valley media people themselves, they could not wrap, they kept saying this is such a bad team, such a bad team. They never could wrap their head around the fact that what we brought up in the pregame is how much better the core lines were. And and we said they're getting better and better and better. Each week seems to be getting a little bit better. They didn't want to take that under consideration. They didn't want to take a look at why this team was getting better. They didn't want to take a look at the base players. They want to take a look at the Cortland Suttons. They want to take a look at the Patricks, but that's as far as these people can see. They don't want to see anything beyond that. And that's why this is a bottom feeder team. This is why, let me ask you this, and then you can get back. But on any other team where the wide receivers are on an offense that can't produce more than 17 points, would those wide receivers on a team, on an offense that can't produce over 17 points, would they ever see that money? So just a question. I'm just putting it out there.
I think, yes, you're correct on what you're saying. I agree with you 100% when it comes to that logic. Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick are the exact same players, and you dedicated roughly over $85 million collectively to those two players. When $85 million, okay, roughly, okay, I can't crunch down the numbers. I'm not good with numbers, but just looking at what I have here, you dedicated $85 million to the cap space that you already have freed up over the past year of bad contracts by John Elway, and you turn around and you give two receivers who are the exact same players Me personally, I would have gave 3 years, $34 million to Cortland Sutton and let Tim Patrick walk if that's how you're going to do it. That makes more logical sense from a functional organization. But giving two guys a combined $85 million makes absolutely no logical sense in building a correct NFL team in a stable organization. We already know that this organization is unstable. We've seen the track record of this team. So why can't we as a fan base get what we want when it comes to the Pat Bowlen fan base, not the John Elway fan base? I want to put two distinguishes out there, two stuff out there when it comes to this. Us as a Pat Bowlen fan base wants these lines fixed now. We want these lines fixed now, okay? And we will go into the Chargers game in a minute, but they have a guy named Rashawn Slater who I was pounding the table for even before the draft process was even beginning. And I got so much hate and so many dislikes on that one short video saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. And there's Hall of Fame linemen and analysts out there that says this guy is like a Tristan Wirfs type player, an all-pro caliber player. And we drafted a guy in Patrick Surtain who is going to be good at best. This makes no logical sense from a team building standpoint on how a functional organization is run at all.
Okay, I want to go back to the Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton. Other people that were analyzing it from a GM-centric point of view said you could even structure Tim Patrick where he isn't even getting as much as Cortland Sutton and let Cortland Sutton walk, saving the even more cap space. Say, okay, we will keep a top receiver. So that was one. But I want to go back to what you were. God, I was just going to go back into. You have sports talk, radio talk. Well, I was going to go back to the quarterback thing.
Okay.
Everybody wants to start talking about getting quarterbacks. I don't. So this has to be. I'm thinking maybe this is coming from John Elway, just because sports talk radio is pushing it so much. You don't have an owner, number one. You have a coaching staff that most likely will be gone unless George Paton is planning on keeping Shurmur around. So you have to figure out what your identity is going to be. And then, like you said, you're going to have to build, if you're going to do it right, you're going to have to build it first from the lines. Now, I'm still trying to figure this out. I think that it was a huge mistake bringing Shurmur in. I think if you would have went with the West Coast, and if you could have got Alberto, and you could have got Schobert, and you could have had a Scangarello type of a offensive coordinator in this, I think you would see you would need to have two of those receivers. That just, to me, what it says when you sign them, you want to stick to that Kansas City system.
I agree.
You think you're going to be the Chiefs. That somebody is just dead set, because we see the games. Now, playing the Chargers, you'd think this would be a run-heavy, bruising type of a game that any other, if Elway wasn't in the building, that's just it too. To me, I would think that Fangio would be more the run-first guy. But it seems that if you look at where he's come from, he doesn't seem to be the Kansas City. There's nothing about Fangio that screams Kansas City to me at all. So that has to be coming from somewhere that predates George Paton. Am I off on that?
No, I don't think you're off on that. And I think I have a name here that people have forgotten. And it was a quarterback last year that we went and saw first, and that was Trey Lance. And I believe if Trey Lance fell to us, we would have drafted him because Elway wanted his Josh Allen type player. And we were both on that. And even STR was preaching that as well. We saw the articles.
Yeah, it was all over Denver Post. It was all over Denver.
Yes, it was all over Denver Post. I believe if Trey Lance fell, that would have been the pick. But again, we sit here and want to give George Paton all this credit for getting those lesser free agents, and I agree with him. I will give him credit where credit is due. But I agree with you. This screams when you delegate roughly $84 million to two receivers who are the exact same. You are screaming that you want to bring Pat Shurmur back, or even go after a Pat Shurmur type offense coordinator, even if you don't bring back Pat Shurmur. And I want to go back to your point with they're the exact same players, and you could have delegated getting Tim Patrick with a lesser price. The reason why I would have went after Cortland Sutton is because he's younger, and we need young up and coming players, and I believe Cortland Sutton is that if he's in the right system. But unfortunately, his quarterback is getting killed, and the offensive line sucks. So you really can't see the full capability of Cortland Sutton, even Tim Patrick, to their fullest capability until this O-line is fixed. And everything predicates off of that offensive line. That's why we preach it heavily here at Mile High View.
Yeah, it just it defines logic, except if you're looking at it from the Elway point of view of we're the Kansas City Chiefs, we're the Kansas City Chiefs, we're the Kansas City Chiefs.
We're the 90s Raiders.
Yeah, the 90s. Well, with the
receivers. Yes.
Receivers, yep. Yeah, with the receivers.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm just going back over a week's worth of crap coming from sports talk radio.
I actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I want to. You brought up a great point that STR can't believe the success with Josh Allen. Here's the deal.
What they can't believe is that the organization was already getting it set up for a Josh Allen. They think Josh Allen just came and waved magic wands everywhere.
Okay. I just want to say that. I just want to say this to STR, to all of them. This is the same exact model Kansas City was doing when Patrick Mahomes, before he got there, when Alex Smith was there, and same with Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo. They'll forget about that pretty quickly. They were building a stable roster and had a stable organization that didn't bullshit around, had the model of the Baltimore Ravens model. They had the Pittsburgh Steelers model, the model that wins you Super Bowls and consistently, if you build it correctly, has sustained success over a period of time. And that is why the Buffalo Bills are where they're at. That's why even the New England Patriots are getting to where they're at. They're hitting their stride, just like the Eagles are. They're getting better and better each week, getting back to their old identity. And the Denver Broncos are sitting here with their hands flabbergasted. They can't understand why we're not having the same success as those teams are.
We didn't draft quarterbacks, you see. We didn't draft Josh Allen. It was because this is what I'm getting at, is that they think because we didn't draft Josh Allen, that if we just would have dropped, we would have been just like Buffalo.
Okay, so you draft Josh Allen, okay, and you bring in Rich Scangarello, okay? I just want to keep it realistic here.
Do you bring him in? I don't know.
Yeah. Do
you keep Musgrave?
It makes no sense.
You keep Musgrave?
I don't think they do. I think they are going to do what they did to Drew Lock here. They're going to bury him, and that's exactly what it is.
That's the part they don't understand. They think that Josh Allen, don't worry, he was just going to come and wave magic wands.
No, he wouldn't have, because everything predicates from the front seven, the lines of a team. Everything predicates off of that. And Josh Allen went to a stable organization. He wouldn't have came to a stable organization if he came to Denver, because John Elway is over his head like an Al Davis 2.0 and was switching out offensive coordinators left and right. Blame the coaches, blame George Paton, blame all these other people except for John Elway, because it's John Elway. And that is what would have happened to Josh Allen if he came here. D-Mac, Just stick to baseball, please. Just stick to baseball, man.
Little D, Mac. Little D. Little D. It's a little D.
Man.
No, it's hysterical. I mean, because he was trying to say, well, they didn't draft him because they were all unstable. No, first of all, that I think Elway's so egotistical. He's gun shy now with drafting one. But I want
because
to talk about
because his boy Paxton Lynch didn't turn out because they buried him too.
yeah, I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs really quick because this is like a deconstruction you see going on, and it seems to me that with the big contract sucking the money like a black hole from the Kansas City Chiefs roster, that you may get degradation eventually, keeping on, just a degradation of the team, player personnel wise, that you may end up having just a guy at quarterback. When Mahomes wasn't raising ships in college, and there was questions. There were definitely questions. Like any quarterback. If he doesn't have the player personnel around him, is he going to look? Is he not going to look like just another guy out there?
I think that we saw that at the beginning of the year. They're hitting their stride now. They've got their act together. They're obviously hitting their stride now. But I think that their best is behind them. Obviously, it is shown this year, and it showed even last year to some degree. There were some points in the season where they're like, man, this isn't the same Chiefs 2-3 years ago. I think that they're past their prime. They're hanging on the straws. They have 1 to 2 year contracts left on good players like a Chris Jones, who I absolutely love. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are starting to get to that age where they're going to start regressing here soon. So Patrick Mahomes, everybody, Chris Collinsworth, all you guys can praise quarterback, but eventually the money that you gave him, $500 million to a quarterback, is going to come back to bite you guys in the ass. It's going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, because
that's why Belichick never gave Brady big contracts. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but Brady, it wasn't just Brady also knew. He
looked of course, he still knows.
He looked at the budget and he says, "Well, how can we possibly keep these offensive linemen? How can we possibly pay those defensive linemen? How can we pay the line? How can we make this work if I'm making all that money?" Or it was explained to him. He says, "Well, you're going to take a hit here," and I think Brady has a big ego too.
I agree.
And he probably, you're not going to look as good. You're going to be having to struggle to make plays like you've never struggled before if we can't give you the player personnel. And I think Brady knew. They'll give Brady this. He's not a dummy.
No, he's not. He's very intelligent. He's very intelligent in what he does, and he understands winning. That's why they had to. That's
well, he
why
understands
they had
why.
sustained. Well, obviously, that's why they had sustained success over a long period of time, over a decade's worth, because I think Belichick got to Brady. He's like, hey, if you want to look this good, you have to trust me on how to build an NFL team. And we're starting to see it with Mac Jones and Max Jones. I mean, I just wish we had that same model in Denver. And Pat Bowlen had that model, and all the feel-good fans and all the John Elway fans and all the suck-up fans and all the Kool-Aid drinkers don't know how lucky they had it with Bowlen, and they will never do. We will never have another Pat Bowlen.
Well, it's not just luck. I don't think they'll even understand it. I mean, in just basic terms.
Said, yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I don't think it's a luck thing. I think it's just, well, we were lucky, of course.
Of course we were.
But they won't understand what it was. It's almost like a band like Leonard Skinner or something that doesn't come around every now and then.
They didn't understand the behind the scenes operation that was going on in Dead Valley. You didn't have all these talking points that Little D Mac and C Salami and Mile High Huddle and Mile High Report and all these idiots put out there. Pat Bowlen had his he had his organization under wraps, and now that he's gone, since he's been gone, 2013 on, this team has been an absolute dumpster fire, and it's been crap.
Yeah, Beth Bolin Wallace was absolutely correct when she said that this trust is nothing but a dumpster fire. The NFL made it clear, because we're getting into the ownership thing. The NFL did make it clear it has to be a single owner. They don't want, Bolin and Elway and, they want a single owner.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They said even if it was a trust, but it has to be one. And Ellis is like, that ain't me. It ain't me. And I believe that. I believe he's not interested in becoming the owner. So, and I think that Dove Valley has an idea what they want to do, but
they want the Jeff Bezos, Jerry Jones model. That's what they want.
I don't even think that. I think they're going to try to they think that they're going to try to get Brittany Bolin and squeeze John Elway in somewhere. I just have a feeling. And I have a feeling what you were saying about somebody coming out of nowhere is going to say, and they may have talked to the NFL already, owners, and said, I'm interested. I don't want this known, but I'm interested. And if they try to pull anything funny where there's no more than one owner, I'm going to contest it. And because Pat Bolin said it's got to be either one of the kids or one owner, because that's what Bolin and the NFL agreed to. Is that it has to be one owner. So that's what I'm going to see if they try to do a Brittany Bolin / John Elway / you know what I'm saying? And somebody's going to come out of the woodwork and say, I'm contesting this. I can buy it as a single owner. And this is what Pat Bolin wanted. They didn't want just Brittany Bolin with a bunch of other owners and other fingers in the pie. It was either one sibling, and if it's multiple owners besides Brittany, we'll just say Brittany, then I think that people are going to come out of the woodwork and contest it.
I would be grateful if that happened.
This is a whole lot different than the Carolina deal.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's ever been a trust involved in a deal like this before with an NFL team.
Tennessee? Is Tennessee?
No,
Tennessee. They did have a.
Tennessee was Tennessee was the Houston Oilers, and the Houston Oilers.
That's owner. Right. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just trying to try to play devil's advocate, but no, I can't think of any. You're right.
Not this situation where the owner died, left it to a trust, this kind of thing.
And then it imploded internally like it has.
Yeah, so I think come on, it's an NFL team. There's got to be billionaires out there eyeing this.
No, they're probably watching this whole situation go down as we speak.
More than that. I think they're talking to the NFL.
Oh, I agree. And I would be happy. I'd just be happy if there's a guy that we don't know of who comes in here and restabilizes this organization under the Pat Bolin model. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I will give George, and I'm gonna give George Paton a chance, whether you like it or not. I'm gonna give him a chance. Just please don't be meddling. Just don't be a meddler, and give George Paton the proper ability to give him a chance to build this thing. And if he doesn't, then fire his ass and hold people accountable. Please, that's all I want.
So we're coming to a precipice. We're coming to a precipice. So, but I think Dove Valley is getting phone calls to find out what's the story. I'm Joe Schmuckatelli. I have the means and the way, and I don't know how people communicate, at this kind of thing. But I'm sure Dove Valley's gotten several inquiries as to what is the deal here? What's this deal? Well, we can't disclose. We can't just okay. You can't disclose. Okay, thank you. And then, hello NFL commissioner, this is billionaire such and such. I could buy this team. You want one owner. I have you can check my bank account. I can do this. This isn't a problem. I'm interested in the team, but if they have like funny business over there, I want to know if I'm able to contest this. If this is a multi-owner, I just want to know how this is going to work out. So I'm sure the NFL is getting calls. So, and of course, the public isn't. This is all unofficial, right? So the public doesn't know about any of this, right?
No, no, they don't. They
No.
no.
So I'm
Just
sure.
like with most things in life, they don't know.
Yeah, exactly, like most things. Exactly. So there's probably a lot going on behind the scenes that Dove Valley doesn't even really got the full handle on, if you know
Well,
what
I
I mean.
don't think I don't think they have the full handle, and they don't want to reveal
Their
publicly.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when Joe Schmuckatelli, billionaire, calls up, they're saying, we're not going to really divulge. We're, giving, they know a song and dance. So if they're really interested, they may be calling the NFL and saying, I'm a potential buyer and I'm going to be watching this. And if I, as a potential buyer, am not allowed into this little clique, I'm going to protest this.
I wouldn't be shocked if that happens, and I think that the more and more I look into this, and I can't really get anything confirmed,
No,
but
I know.
because it's hidden and you really they don't want us to know. But the more and more I think about this, I think that we're going to see a person come out of nowhere and buy this team.
It could work like that. And even where the trust is like, this Brittany Bowlen thing didn't work, and where the NFL has to get involved in it too.
And then once an owner's established, give George Paton a chance, and please put a leash on STR in Dove Valley, please, because it is getting ridiculous.
Well, that's just it. There will be no more John Elway talking points. There will be no more money coming.
Well, hold on. If we get a Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk or somebody like that, there's still going to be those talking points. I don't care what you say, because they're not, like you've told me off record and on record, that's just a stepping stone for that person and that person only. So he's not going to care what's going to happen to this team in terms of on the field play. All they care about is success off the field, not on the field. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm sorry. I'm just hoping that we get an order that comes out of nowhere that nobody knows about, like with bowling coming from Canada, and just putting a leash on this organization. It doesn't have to be the exact same model that Pat Bowlen did it, okay? It just has to be a model that is consistent, that holds people accountable, and that wants an organization to succeed and be stable and building it the right way. That's all I want. That's all I ask.
You're asking too much right there.
Well, you know what? A
You
person can wish. A guy can wish for,
You're not obsessing over quarterbacks. And
I'm not little D Mac here trying to, writing, talking about quarterbacks and why you need to draft them in the first round every year. Okay, I'm not that stupid.
Big D, little D. Yeah, little D.
Absolutely.
Little D Mac.
Great analogy.
Yeah, little D Mac. No, he said he
hates
that, so that's why I'm saying it, just because he hates it so much.
Well, stick to baseball then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so we got a Charger game coming up. Let's talk about this. I don't see this team. I get where you're coming from about privileged players in this kind of thing, but also I do see this as a Dawn of the Dead team. I do see this as a bunch of walking dead men. I see this coaching staff as walking dead. There's nothing that seems, there's no way. Look at, in my opinion, we never did talk about the Bridgewater thing, the Bridgewater no hit. To me, that totally defined who the Broncos were for 2021.
Thank you.
Was that, not just Bridgewater, but I'm talking about the Broncos.
I know.
The Broncos as a whole I don't know what motivated them against Dallas. I don't know what that was about.
I think that had more to do with Dallas overlooking us than us playing with our hair on fire, in my personal opinion.
Well, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I guess you could say that. But it was weird. I mean, it was, I mean, Fangio pumping fists and stuff. But to me, this
Maybe they wanted to prove a point that trading Von Miller was the best thing to happen in this organization.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's
Because
just
it was the week, right? It was that same week we were playing the Cowgirls,
no,
and
no.
Von Miller gets traded.
I know. But really, I mean, are they that invested? I don't even think they're that
John
invested.
Elway is.
Well,
John Elway is.
well, if this is a John Elway team at heart, if
It
the
is. It
if
is
that
at heart.
includes and if that includes Fangio, they can all go, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. They can all go, including
All
George
can go.
Paton.
And get and you know what? The new owner comes in, they will be all gone.
Oh, of course.
That's just going to be it because they're not going to. They are not going to put up with a Justin Simmons. They're not going to put up with
I
Draymond
know.
Green. It's just not. They're not going to put up with the
Or
garbage.
Garrett Bowles.
Well, yeah, this hemorrhaging of money. Okay.
And see, this is where I'm concerned with it with George Paton, because I went back and looked at his track record with the Vikings, and it is receivers, corners, receivers, and their O line suffered for many years.
Just like
Even when
John Elway.
And that's where I could see where you're concerned, and that's where I'm concerned. This is why I wanted an Adam Peters. This is why, and bless your heart, George Paton. I want to give you a chance, because was that you or was that Rick Spielman's job? I don't know, because you were assistant. You weren't the man that was making the decisions there in Minnesota. So I don't know if you were preferring these guys and Rick Spielman went a different route. We don't know that. We will never know that. And
Yeah.
see,
If we get Elway 2.0, when
I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case here.
he's got to go too.
I agree.
Yeah. If we end up calling him Elway 2.0, he'll have to go.
I'll just say LOA's mini me.
Elway's mini me. Yeah,
The
he'll
guy
have.
who's on his leash.
And that's what it looked like in Pittsburgh, didn't it?
Yep, where he came out of the tunnel and there's Elway in front, George Paton in the back.
Yeah.
Not a shock.
So yeah, like I said, with that non-hit by Bridgewater, just to me defined the Denver Broncos right there for 2021. That's why I do not see this team at all making the playoffs. You got an ownership situation that has to get resolved. So I don't know if just because if they're going to fire the staff, it's going to be interesting. Are they going to keep? And I'm still wondering, are they going to keep Shurmur? Fire Fangio and keep Shurmur around. That's
God,
really,
if they do.
that's the thing that I'm really wondering. We got to find a new head coach. One that'll accept Shurmur.
High
school. Is there a high school coach somewhere?
Yeah, is Jeff Fisher available?
Yeah, Ted Lasso.
Yeah. You bring up a great point with Shurmur, because all the firing Fangio talks started the year that we brought in Shurmur, and Shurmur's a former head coach. And you had Rich Scangarilla, who's never been an offense coordinator in his life. He was always a quarterback's coach or assistant to a certain aspect on the offense. And then you turn around and you go get Shurmur. And I'm probably speaking Martian to some people and speaking conspiracy theorists, but it wouldn't shock me if that's what they do, because everybody knows that I have a love affair for Fangio, because I know what his defense is capable of if you get the right player personnel.
But
I would, for Fangio's sake, just fire his ass and just let him go succeed and prove once again, like Vance Joseph and all these other coaches that have come and go under Elway, go succeed other places, and just stick it right to Elway, because unfortunately that is the type of current Denver Broncos timeline we are at right now. Okay, we get rid of good players like Phil Lindsay, who just got cut the other day. I don't know why they cut him, but hey, I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but that's never going to happen.
Well, it's the Texans. So what do you want?
I know it's the Texans, but at least they beat a good Titans team the other day, and they do play hard, unlike the Broncos, and just like the Lions. And we look at this schedule going after the Chargers game. I can't even see a win. It's hard for me to pick out a win. The Lions play hard. Their record doesn't show that they play hard, but they play really hard, and they're building that team correctly with that offensive line, which is way better than ours. And going into this Chargers game, who knows what's going to happen, because both teams are inconsistent at best. Even the Chargers are still inconsistent, but they're young and they're getting better. I think they're a year or two away from taking off, in my opinion, because they're starting to build it right.
Absolutely. So it seems like this would be kind of a run-heavy game plan, but
with Shurmur,
Shurmur and Elway.
Oh yeah.
Remember, nobody wants to mention Elway, but Elway's in there too.
Of course.
With his binoculars.
But I'm tired of talking about Elway, so that's I like to bring Shurmur there. I like to stick it to all the people that said Shurmur was a good hire. STR.
Of course, you remember bombs away, right?
Drew 20. Oh, we never said that. We never said that.
No. Roll the tape.
Yep, roll the tape.
And we did. We rolled it.
We exposed it.
Yeah, they didn't like that, did they?
No, they didn't. But Chargers game, let's talk about this Chargers game, because I got a lot to talk about this game, unfortunately, because I do a deep dive into every team that we play, and I look at it.
They seem to be susceptible to the run, which means Shurmur will not run the football, right?
Yes. They're going to do the opposite of what works. So with the Chargers, okay, well, you brought up the run, so let's talk about their defense.
Yeah, how do they stop receivers? Three wideouts. How are they with that?
The Chargers?
Yeah.
Well, they run. Okay, so they have a guy named Brandon Staley who I like personally. I think he's a good head coach. I think given the right player personnel like Fangio, he runs the exact same maybe overlap as Fangio. Fangio blitzes a lot more because he doesn't have the player personnel, but the Chargers really don't, because they have a guy named Joey Bosa who's an absolute monster, and they've been doing this over the past 2 weeks. And
Wait a second. They didn't send him to the Rams?
No, they didn't send him to the Rams.
Okay.
They gave him a contract extension, just to put that out there. They have a guy in Joey Bosa who they were lining outside a lot, and I've been saying that he fits better as a 3 or 4 tech. And what I mean by that is a 4 tech and a 5 tech is your 4-3 defense, and a 3 tech is your 3-4 defense. And something that they've been doing very, very interesting with Joey Bosa is they've been lining him up against the center and the right guard and the left guard, and they're using his ability to get off the line of scrimmage and his bull rush to help impact the game. So Joey Bosa with a Usama and all these other guys on that defensive line could cause problems for this offensive line on Sunday.
Yeah, well, what defensive line hasn't caused problems thus far for the Denver Broncos? Let's be honest.
I agree.
And this is even with Garrett Bowles in. I'm not sure if he's in or not, but it doesn't really.
No, he's out. He's out. What a terrible contract you gave him too. I said that was going to come back to bite you in the ass. Roll the tapes. I said it.
But Garrett Bowles. It's Garrett Bowles. Thank God, Garrett Bowles. No. So can they cover receivers? Receivers. Can they do it? Can they cover a receiver? Uh-oh, you're gone.
No, sorry, I had to take a phone call. My apologies. Can they cover receivers? They have a guy. They actually have a few guys. They have a guy named Chris Harris Jr. I don't know if you guys remember him very well, right? Yeah,
Doesn't
don't know
ring a
him very
bell.
well.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Is it the same Chris Harris Jr., but he is a
Did
very
you say Philip
solid.
Lindsay? Did you say
Yeah,
Philip?
yeah.
Oh wait.
And,
Oh wait. No,
oh,
no.
oh,
No. Was it? Was
Malik
it
Jackson,
Malik Jackson? Yeah. Wait. No. Was
Andy
it
Janovich.
Andy Janovich? Wait, Skynet.
uh, but yeah, uh, they have some good guys here. Asante Samuel Jr. Was their draft pick. Yeah, I believe he was a second round draft pick out of Florida State. Reminds me a lot of his father, Asante Samuel. Very sound corner. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles for a very long time. Was a very sound corner. I wouldn't have minded if you drafted Rashawn Slater and got Asante Samuel in the second round. If that's the route you're going to go with corners, clown car full of corners. Yeah, Hong
Hong
Kong.
Kong.
They also have a guy that I wanted in free agency, a guy named Michael Davis. If any of you are familiar with him, he is a very long, athletic corner, about 6'1", 185, 195. He's a very good man-to-man slash zone corner, but he fits more man-to-man as an outside corner. And Chris Harris Jr. will play your slot. And they also have a guy named Derwin James Jr., who is a way better safety than John Elway fans like to admit it, than Justin Simmons. Okay.
Okay, so he doesn't hide, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he actually makes plays like Amika Fitzpatrick in Pittsburgh. So Kareem Jackson might be out for this game, so I wouldn't be shocked if Justin Herbert and them go after Justin Simmons, the overpaid, overhyped safety.
I would go after him
Broncos.
every time. I would go after him every time.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And they run a 3-4 / cover 6 2 high system. So they run a lot of what Fangio runs, but they overlap it and they don't have to blitz as much because they have the player personnel, unlike Fangio.
Yeah.
So, and they actually have some linebackers who I'm a big fan of. Kenneth Murray has been sort of underwhelming for me coming out of Oklahoma. Him and Patrick Queen I was high on, and Patrick Queen looks like he's been more of a X factor, unlike Kenneth Murray. But Kenneth Murray does have the sideline to sideline instinctual ability / speed ability. So to get after running backs, he can cover running backs. To do the things that you need to ask with him, but he's not instinctual in coverage at all when it comes to covering tight ends or the middle of the field.
Well, we don't really use our tight ends like we would
we don't.
like to use them.
No, we use guys like Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton that we dedicated $84 million to total. They also have a guy named Drew Tranquil, converted safety out of Notre Dame, plays linebacker. He, to me, is the X factor for this defense, in my opinion. He is the one that is the signal caller for this defense. He's the guy that makes the machine run in terms of the defense, getting people in their alignment. He is your Kenny Young on that defense, if you want to be technical with it. Drew Tranquil is a guy I have been very impressed with, and he is more of your middle of the field Kenny Young type player covering the middle of the field. And Kenneth Murray is more of your Baron Browning.
I know this is an odd time to bring this up, but I want to talk about Kenny Young for a minute.
That's a guy we're going to let go.
What? Yeah. I want to go back to the team of the zombies. He got put on a team full of zombies. Do you think he wants to be around for the switch over, the slaughter? Do you think that he would be like, I don't think I want to be here while all this transformation is taking place? Am I reading that right? Or
yes, I mean, did you watch his press conference when he first got here? He looked
unamused
to be here. Yeah.
You want to be here? Nope. Well,
yeah, he doesn't want to be here.
In all fairness, he may have said that with anywhere. Maybe he did want to be where he was at. in all fairness. But I think, yeah, I think if you look at where this team is going, there is no incentive to it's like I would say to my agent, God, throw me a lifeline, right?
I agree.
Throw me a lifeline. Okay. So what now? Let's go to the Herbert. Let's talk about quarterback. What's Justin Herbert is an interesting bird to me because, like I said, when he was in college, he would throw these beautiful, beautiful passes, and then all of a sudden he'd just throw a pick six or whatever. He'd just throw it right to a defender where none of his receivers were even around. He's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. How is Herbert doing year two in the NFL?
I think he has come back to earth this year. I think that what the Chargers have done smartly is they have put the leash on Justin Herbert, and what I mean by that is they're not making him be a Brett Favre type player, a Josh Allen type player that we've seen this year. They went out and built this offensive line correctly. They brought in Rashawn Slater, who's helped his growth. Matt Filer, who's been an excellent addition from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got Corey Linsley, a top 3 center in the league. The right side is vulnerable with Brian Bulaga out because he's always injured like a Jawan James. So the right side is vulnerable if the Broncos want to attack that side of the field. But
do we have Chubb coming back? It's kind of iffy, right? It's
50-50.
50-50. That's what I thought. Okay. That's another point of conversation is the Chubb bust conversation by STR. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, because they're idiots. Herbert, what they did is they went out and brought in a Rich Scangarello type coordinator, Lombardi, a guy that I've been following his career very closely, just like Joe Brady from the Panthers. Matt Lombardi does a lot of what Mike Munchak and Rich Scangarello did. They have a guy, a 6'8" tight end. I can't remember his name, and they have Cook, who is 34, past his prime, but he's a good tight end still in the league if used properly. They're using a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're using Austin Eckler like a Philip Lindsay, like Denver Broncos should have used Philip Lindsay. You probably know Austin Eckler very well.
The Broncos refused to use the Williams.
Yeah, Javonte. Yeah, I'm not shocked by that.
Even STR can't figure that one out. But
I agree.
The word Shurmur should pop up and Elway, but anyway.
And they have. If we want to talk receivers, I hate talking receivers because they don't work unless the quarterback has time and the offensive line is working. But that Mike Williams is more of your Tim Patrick type player. They are starting to use him a lot more creatively. And Keenan Allen, you want to talk about a great route runner who's been doing it for a decade. Keenan Allen, I will take him over Jerry Jeudy any day. I don't care what you say. But Mike Williams, they've really expanded his route tree. He's 6'4", almost 200 pounds. He does not run like a 6'4", 195 receiver. He runs like a 6 foot, 180, 175 receiver. This guy.
You can see that given the Broncos fits tomorrow or Sunday.
Yes, I agree. I can see it giving him fits. I can see Eckler giving him fits. Eckler is a very good running back. Justin Jackson's a guy that you cannot sleep on. He's the backup to Eckler. This offensive line is way better than people are giving it credit for on the left side. The right side is iffy. So we'll see what happens. But with this defensive line, I don't think it will matter. We'll see what happens. They run that West Coast 2 tight end sets, and I wouldn't be shocked if Mike Williams, the 6'8" tight end that they got, he's a rookie, and Jared Cook give this defense problems.
Well, I want to say this. If the right side is iffy, this is a test for Draymond Jones. If Draymond Jones is
Here we
non-existent,
go.
no. If Draymond Jones is non-existent with this right side, I don't want to hear it from these people.
Can I just say this? The guy, he's 6'8", 237. I'm looking him up right now. He is Donald Parman Jr., and I believe he's a rookie. He has 15 receptions on the season, 169 yards and 3 touchdowns, averages 11.3 yards per catch.
Oh, he's a basketball player, a short basketball player.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's his second season. My apologies. He's from Stetson. This is a guy I've been watching very closely when I was doing my game film, and they're using him pretty effectively.
All I can say is just go after Justin Simmons. Just go after him.
I believe that's what they're going to do with him and Cook and Mike Williams. Mike Williams, I believe they're going to put Keenan Allen on Patrick Surtain and Mike Williams on Darby, and they're going to go straight for whatever Simmons' side of the field is, in my opinion.
Simmons' side of the field. They've done that all year, going to Simmons' side of the field.
And your point with Draymond Jones, I just want to say this. Where was he against the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars if those were shitty offensive lines? Why wasn't he effective in those games?
Well, he did get a coverage.
I'm not attacking. Oh, he got okay. Yeah,
okay.
I guess that puts you in the same stratosphere as an Aaron Donald and DeForest Buckner and the Fletcher Cox.
Get him the gold jacket. Get that gold jacket ready.
Okay.
We never said anything about that. Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. Okay.
Roll the tapes.
Yeah, let's go back to those comments. Let's just go back.
Yeah. Where are you, all you morons?
The tail between their legs.
Of course.
So yeah, I personally say go after Simmons, but they'll go on.
And you know what? Chargers. If we got any Chargers fans on here, go right at Draymond Jones because he doesn't put the fear in God in me. If I'm a player, he doesn't scare me. You can hold one hand out and he'll be jumping up and down.
I've got a video of that. I've got video of that. So what is the Chargers? What is their major? Why do they keep charging? Why do they keep stepping over their own feet and stumbling?
Well, the reason I say that they're a very inconsistent team is because their special teams are terrible. And it's not because of the coaching. It's because the player personnel. And their player personnel is not there yet. But the difference with this team and the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos, if they're building it right, should be where the Chargers are at right now, in my opinion. But their player personnel is getting better. The Broncos player personnel are regressing. And they're not, and the Chargers aren't the preseason Chargers with Phillip Rivers. This Chargers team is very different in its own way. And Brandon Staley is no joke. He's no joke. He's a no-nonsense coach. He is a coach that holds his players accountable. And Fangio doesn't have the opportunity to do that because he'll get whiplashed in John Elway's office. So
yeah, especially since all those people he needs to hold accountable got money.
And you can say the Chargers are somewhat like the Eagles. I will say they're somewhat like the Eagles. They're getting better incrementally each and every week in some aspects of their team. And I wouldn't be shocked if this was a close game, honestly, because it's in Denver. I wouldn't be shocked, but I wouldn't be shocked if this was just like what we saw from the Eagles game.
Well, this is the way I look at it. If the Broncos start getting behind, I don't see this. Again, I'm telling you, Dawn of the Dead. I'm saying dead men walking, zombie apocalypse. You will just basically see a bunch of bodies out there. There won't be any. It'll be like whatever. We're out here. Well, yeah, here we come.
Yeah, we're getting paid. Justin Simmons, I'm safe. I'm getting paid.
Yeah, I can go. I'll go run after this halfback here.
I'll slow down on a go route.
Yeah, I'll go slow down on that, and I won't. I'll like all year. I'm not going to help over the top. You're on your own.
Yeah.
Or just Bad offense,
I think
bad lineman getting beat.
No, yeah, I think we're gonna. I agree with that. I think Cushenberry is going to get destroyed in this game. I honestly think Cushenberry is going to be exposed in this game. I honestly believe that, and same with Reisner. Man, if he was.
I want to say something about Bridgewater really quick. That I honestly think Bridgewater is beat the shit right now.
I agree.
I think why he didn't do it. I think he's so close to being out. I think
he's close to breaking.
And I think that's why he knew, man, if I tackle this guy, I'm probably going to be out. And here's the thing. This is what I didn't ever mention is that nobody wanted to mention this. Bridgewater, it's not just the coaching staff that's fears. I think they fear Locke, to be honest with you. They fear him.
Because of the wrong factor.
I think that Bridgewater knows that he's got Bridgewater right breathing down his neck. Or Bridgewater's got Locke breathing down his neck. If he goes out, and Locke starts lighting it up, he's done. And the coaching staff is done. The narrative is done. And of course, Fangio will get blamed for all that, but we know who is behind all that.
I agree.
We know who is behind it all, and it'll just like the Warden Hazen. He's just going to be so upset.
Yep, looking to get Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
It's not going to happen. It's
not in his mind, not in John Elway fans' mind. They honestly believe they're going to get one of those two quarterbacks.
Well, they think, but they're sending Peyton out to look at all these other quarterbacks.
Yeah, the rookie class.
Yeah, what does any of I don't know anything about.
We saw it last year with Justin Fields and Trey Lance and Mac Jones. We saw it. This is Elway.
But my question is anybody in this draft class quarterback going to be any better than Locke or even Bridgewater?
No. This is the prime year to get offense and defensive line players. I've been trying to tell people that, but
that's what I'm thinking.
Go and get an Evan Neal from Alabama. Go get a Devin Neal from Texas A&M. Go get those type of players. Don't get a fucking quarterback.
That teams that are going to capitalize on the Broncos not getting those are going to be the ones getting even better. Because, teams like Denver, maybe Atlanta, I don't know, didn't pick.
I'd be shocked if we get Devin Singletary from LSU, another fucking corner.
Or just they'll go after one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, they'll go after Kenny Pickett or Desmond Reader or Mark.
They got Pickett. Pickett. Oh, wait a minute. The coach that just came in, I didn't hire this. I didn't pick this guy. So another wasted pick.
Oh yeah, no, Peyton went to go watch Pickett play, so. And so did he see Willis play.
If Elway can bury one more quarterback while walking out the door, I demanded Pickett be picked, even though I wasn't there, and I got him buried. Yes, I killed another quarterback. Sometimes you wonder if he's worried about his own legacy. Some other guy beating his own records and stuff like that.
Peyton Manning already did that.
Okay, so I don't need to go. There's the conspiracy there.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to get my daughter something to eat. She texted me earlier. So there's our Chargers game. Totally different. Nothing. You'll never see anything like this anywhere. Yeah. Oh, now. Yeah. She's hungry, so I got to go make some dinner. Okay.
Okay. Take care. I'll see you Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully.
Right, late post game, I guess. So.
I'll have to let you go for it. All right. Take care.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.